Hello. Everyone calls me TR, but my full name is Thomas Robinson Cutler. I was born in Sheffield, England as the eldest son of John Cutler and Elizabeth Robinson. I was named after my grandfather, Thomas Robinson. My last name also reflects my father's profession. He was a cutlerer, or in other words a maker of cutlery. Our city of Sheffield was famous for making fine knives, forks and spoons. When I was about 13 years old, my father joined the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and was so enthusiastic about his new church that he left his family to travel to Utah, walking most of the way. But things did not work out so well for my father in Utah, and 4 years later he returned to England, only to find that his English business partner had run the business into the ground. In the meantime, my brother John and I found positions in the city of Manchester, where the two of us worked in the business office of a merchandise company. In 1864, when I was 20 years old, our entire family left England on the ship Monarch to join with the Saints in Utah. Our employer begged us not to leave, telling us that by going we were placing our future in jeopardy. Some 12 years later I had occasion to be in England again and took the opportunity to visit my former place of employment. The same people I had left behind were still there, at their same desks, doing the same work they were doing. I was thereby assured that my choice to go to America was a good one. By the time our whole family had reached America, all of the eastern states were engaged in a civil war. So as soon as we landed in New York City, we took a train which carried us north into Canada and then west to the Missouri River, where in St. Joseph we found our pioneer company and the wagons which would take us to Utah. From Missouri to Utah, I walked the whole way, arriving there more than 5 months after the time we boarded the Monarch in England. Shortly after our arrival, we settled on a farm near the mouth of Big Cottonwood Canyon. My skills working in a merchandise store in England helped me land a new job in Lehigh, starting in 1865. That work then turned into a freighting operation. In 1868, I took 7 wagons loaded with goods and 200 head of cattle from Lehigh to Green River, Wyoming, where we set up shop in a mining camp. We did very well in that business and returned to Lehigh with a fair amount of money in our pockets. With that seed money and some merchandising experience now under my belt, I opened the People's Cooperative Mercantile Institution in Lehigh. By the time the railroad was completed to Lehigh in 1872, we had a flourishing business, which got only better with the ability to now quickly ship goods across the United States. By the time I had turned 26, I decided I needed to look around for a mate. Fortunately, I was introduced to the young, 17 years old, Laura Coons, then living in Lehigh with her grandfather Isaac Goodwin. She made a wonderful impression on me and I quickly proposed. She accepted and we were married on Christmas Eve in 1870, in the endowment house in Salt Lake City. We started out married life living in the back 2 rooms of grandfather Goodwin's home. Later we purchased that home from him. In 1879 I had done well enough financially that I purchased property nearby and built a 7-room home. Over the years we added onto it to accommodate our growing family. In that same year I was called to be the 2nd bishop in Lehigh, the first one having served for 28 years. During my service as the bishop, we built the Lehigh Tabernacle. I was released in 1903, after serving for 24 years. In all, Laura and I had 12 children, 2 of whom died in their infancy. I also took a second wife, Rhoda Juliet Barnes, who was called Julia, by whom I had 5 sons. When Julia died unexpectedly in 1893, Laura took over their care as if she were their natural mother. I did end up spending 5 months in the Utah State Prison for having 2 wives, but I would willingly do that again considering how much I loved both wives. In 1889 church leaders formed the Utah Sugar Company in order to provide a local source for sugar. The first plant was established in Lehigh and I became its general manager. I also continued with the People's Cooperative. In 1893 I decided I needed to work full-time in the newly created sugar business. Our Lehigh factory was the first sugar plant in the Intermountain area and the first to process sugar beets. President Wilford Woodruff laid the cornerstone, showing the commitment of the church to the project. In 1903 the sugar company moved its offices to Salt Lake City. With that move, I acquired a home there as well. Ultimately, we acquired a home located at 2000 South and 500 East. It turned out to be quite costly. particularly after I put in over $100,000 in improvements. But it was big enough to fit my larger and ever-growing family. We also enjoyed its formal gardens where I could enjoy an abundance of beauty to brighten my days. I could go on about the many factories we constructed in Utah, Oregon, Idaho and Washington. Many of my sons ended working for U&I Sugar, as the company was later known. To me it was a fulfillment of the vision of the leaders of my church. I am grateful to have been a small part of it until Elle retired from the company in 1917 at the age of 72.